This is the CJ Silas Show. She's been talking sports for over half her life. You'll hear big-name guests and all the hot topics. Her roller derby sisters call her Dodge Her Blue. CJ's proud of her California roots and time in New York. Born and raised in L.A., college at USC and Syracuse University. She's not afraid to share her opinions with you. And, like it or not, she wants to be the change. Ladies and gentlemen, all ears and no mask required. Here she is, CJ Silas.
Hey, welcome in live and direct from the ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7 studios of The Ticket in San Luis Obispo, California. This is the CJ Silas Show. I'm kind of excited. We've been giving away all these prizes, and there's a winner coming in. I don't think I've got time to put the winner on the air, but I just love to see those of you that are listening to the show and taking part. If you want to get involved in the contest, it's on Instagram. If you've already put your name in, that's good. In the hopper, we're going to give away our next prize on Wednesday, September 29th. Am I doing the math right? Yes, it's the 29th. It's 2 weeks from tonight. Next week, we're going to come on after the Dodgers game. It's our last Wednesday that we follow the Dodgers game, but then during the Major League Baseball postseason, we might end up having to do that as well after one of the playoff games. If you want to get involved in the contest, some of the best things, I'm giving away Cal Poly football tickets, CJ Silas Show swag, baseball shirts, trucker hats. I've got a Corey Seager World Series bobblehead that I think I'm going to give away this month in honor. Well, I'm going to wait and see. Maybe I'll wait till October if the Dodgers are in the postseason. Well, there are. They clinched a playoff berth, but who knows? NL West or wild card. No. Anyway, we'll get to that because we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. I also have the Kobe Bryant signed posters. I think I have one more Laker championship poster. Lots of good stuff. Just go to Instagram and figure it out. You'll see a picture of the contest winner from tonight, and that's how you can get involved. It's super fun. Easy. It's the CJ Silas Show. Give. Never take. Always give. We're continuing to celebrate Black History Month all year long. We're actually celebrating, let's just say we're celebrating Black History. I don't know why I say that all the time, month, year. We're just celebrating Black History. We're celebrating people, brown and black people, in sports, in the civil rights movement, people that have earned celebration, recognition, and accolades that haven't gotten it or enough. Whether it's in sports, music, civil rights, anything. And I try to kind of theme it around the month that they are born. So obviously it would be folks in the month of September. And we're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes because I want to do that early because Doc Curtis is coming in for our annual NFL picks. Yes, we pick all the division winners. We pick the wild cards. We pick the AFC and NFC champions. And then we pick the Super Bowl. We're going to do that today. Get your picks in. I know, CJ, you're a week late. I know. The reason is Doc Curtis was out of the country last week, and we can't do our picks without him. That gives you a little grace. That means you don't have to get your picks in until Sunday. Even though we have a Thursday night game, you don't have to get your NFL picks in for the 2021 season until Sunday morning by 10 a.m. Pacific once that first game gets kicked off, okay? Do it. Because all you have to do is be the person to pick the right teams in the Super Bowl and the winner. And you win lots of stuff. You win a CJ Silas Show prize pack. It doesn't happen until February because it's the whole season. Get yours in. Sometimes we only have like 15 or 20 people in the pool. Last year, I think we had a lot because a lot of people were sitting at home and had nothing else to do. Get your NFL picks in. You can do it on Instagram. You can email me, CJ at the CJ Silas Show. You can email info at the CJ Silas Show. Just get your picks in by Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. One little note in the NFL. I have a feeling, and we know that the COVID protocol is different this year than it was last year. The NFL really not giving anybody grace. If you miss a game, you forfeit that game. There are no do-overs. There are no mulligans. There are no makeup games. And right now, the New Orleans Saints are battling COVID. I think 8 players and some coaches have tested positive. I don't know about symptoms. I just am saying that this weekend's game is looking a little, not sure. I'm looking forward to the NFL picks. Also, Major League Baseball here with, let me do the math. The math would be, today's the 15th, and I'm pretty sure the last game of the Major League Baseball season, it's a little bit different than in the past because of COVID. I think the last game in the season is, I think it's October. I think they're going all the way till the first Sunday in October. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Usually it's the last day in September on a Sunday, but because of COVID, it looks like it's going to go all the way, I'm pretty sure. It goes until the October. I'm trying to figure this out while I sit and talk to you. I should have probably looked that up before I knew I was going to say anything. Not as smart as I look, folks. Not as smart as I look. But yeah, usually it's the last Sunday in September. And this year, because of COVID and because just everything. Oh, by the way, they're going back to the same number of playoff games. It is the last Sunday in the first Sunday in October, which I think is Sunday, October 3rd. Yeah, I'm right. See, I am. Well, I wouldn't say smart as I look. In the world before COVID, it would have been that last Sunday, which would have been the September 26th. But because of COVID and scheduling stuff, that's so weird. We're going to have games the first weekend of October that aren't playoff games. Lots going on in the National League. The Dodgers and the hated orange and black are the only two teams that have clinched the playoffs so far. They really are the best two teams in baseball. So no matter what, even if they tie, let's see, if they tie for the National League West, they will play a one-game playoff in the Bay Area because the hated orange and black have the home field. If the Dodgers are the National League West winners outright, then the San Francisco will go play a one-game playoff against someone. Who knows? San Diego, St. Louis, I don't know. Maybe Milwaukee, I don't know. If it's the other way around, if San Francisco wins, then the Dodgers will play in that wild card game. In the American League, the wild card, there's chaos. Chaos in the American League when it comes to what it looks like for the postseason. Seattle, the Red Sox, the Yankees. I mean, it's really, I like it like this. I like that we've got 2.5 more weeks of baseball. 2.5 more weeks of baseball. And really, a lot of teams are still alive. A lot of teams. It's very cool. Biggest story of the day, clearly. Biggest story of the last couple days. The USC Trojans have let Clay Helton go as their head coach. Dante Williams has been named the interim head coach. Curious if he does great. Is he an automatic to get the head coaching job? Another thing about this is, do the Trojans need a big name? It's been, I think, look this up for me, will you, Angeliki? She's the intern. When is the last time that USC was even close to being the national champion? It's got to be over 10 years that they've been even in the top 5 at the end of the season. It's time. USC was a powerhouse in college football for years and years, most of my childhood, all the way into my adulthood. And the past 10 years, futile. And I went to USC. 2004 was the last time USC was in the national championship game. Are you kidding? They won it in 2004. That's 17 years ago. That's embarrassing. But does that mean that the Trojans need a head coach with a big name? I don't think so. I mean, the obvious choice for me, the obvious choice for me and only me is Eric Bieniemy. Duh. There are other names that are being thrown around. Bob Stoops, he's an analyst for the F Network. Mario Cristobal from Oregon. Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. PJ Fleck from Minnesota. I'm not sure. Somebody threw out Deion Sanders, I think I heard someone say today. I just want you to know something as a USC alum. If it happens to be Urban Meyer, I will change teams. I will not root for... That would be so weird to not root for USC anymore. That would be so weird. How could I not root? I mean, I went to USC in 1980. Okay, I'm going to age myself. I went to USC in 1984, yo. It's 2021. That means 30 years ago 30-ish or more than 30 years ago. And that's how long. And I grew up in a UCLA family. I grew up with two parents that were UCLA Bruins. I'm not mad or anything that I couldn't get into UCLA. I'm not mad or resentful that my college counselor told me that I shouldn't even apply to the UC system at the time because I wouldn't get in front of all my classmates, by the way. But I'm not mad or bitter. Well, maybe a little. Just a tad. I've been a USC fan that long. But you heard it here, folks. Live Wednesday, September 15th on ESPN Radio 1280 and FM 101.7 The Ticket. If USC hires Urban Meyer to be their head coach, which I doubt is going to happen, I will find a new college football team. It's easy for me because I also went to Syracuse, and I root for Syracuse too. But the truth is, let's be real. Syracuse football, USC football, come on. Syracuse, not really a powerhouse in football. Basketball, yes. Track and field, yes. Women's basketball and men's, yes. Volleyball, yes. Other things, yes, but not football. But if USC hires Urban Meyer, I won't find another college football team. I'll just narrow my team down to one instead of two, because right now I root for two. I've got an East Coast team and a West Coast team because I can do that because I went to both schools. Just like last week when I was talking about Deshaun Watson, if the Miami Dolphins decide to sign him as their quarterback, I will find a new team. I've been rooting for the Dolphins longer than I've been rooting for the Trojans because I've been rooting for the Dolphins since, well, whenever the Rams left L.A., because that's when I had to find myself a new team. You heard it here. It's a confession that I'd like to make, and it's very important. If USC hires Urban Meyer, which I don't think is going to happen, I just need it to be on record. I will not root for the USC Trojan football team anymore. I don't even know if I would root for USC basketball. I don't even know if I would root for USC anything if the Trojans brought in that awful human, Urban Meyer, to be the head coach. Ugh. Creepy, yucky, awful. No, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you anyway. Not that anyone's asking me. Nobody called me to see what CJ wanted. Nobody called to see who I would want as the head coach of the USC Trojans. But somebody should call me so I can say who I don't want. I'd pretty much take anybody. Anybody. Well, that's not true. There are a few others. It's Black History on the CJ Silas Show, recognizing, honoring, and celebrating brown and black people, not just in the world of sports, but out in the world of arts, civil rights, pioneers, people that did something wonderful on the planet while they had a chance, using their platform, using their voice to do good and do well and be good and be the change in our country, in a country that has been struggling when it comes to the celebration of anybody that wasn't white. Idris Elba. Love him. Born September 6, 1972. Known for roles including Stringer Bell in the HBO series The Wire, DCI John Luther in the BBC One series Luther, and Nelson Mandela in the biographical film Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. He's been nominated 4 times for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor. Miniseries or television film, he won 1. Nominated 5 times for a Primetime Emmy Award. In 2016, he was named the Time 100 list of most influential people in the world. As of May 2019, his films have grossed over $9.8 billion at the global box office, including over $3.6 billion in North America, where he is one of the top 20 highest grossing actors. The Prince's Trust, a UK youth charity founded by Prince Charles in 1976, which Elba credits with helping begin his career, appointed him as their anti-crime ambassador in April of 2009. Idris Elba. Jimmy Butler, born September 14th, 1989. He's just a youngin'. American professional basketball player for the Miami Heat of the NBA, drafted with the 30th overall pick in the 2011 draft by the Chicago Bulls. He's a 5-time NBA All-Star, a 4-time All-NBA Team honoree, and a 5-time NBA All-Defensive Team honoree. In 2015, he was named the NBA Most Improved Player And in 2017, Jimmy Butler was awarded the NBA Cares Community Assist Award, assisting youth in Chicago. I love Jimmy Butler. I do. I would really be super pumped if he was on my team, but not going to happen. Calvin Johnson, born September 29th, 1985, another youngin'. Former American football wide receiver, played in the National Football League for 9 seasons with the Detroit Lions. He was nicknamed Megatron after the fictional robot of the same name. He's regarded as one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. He appeared in 6 consecutive Pro Bowls from 2010 to 2015 and received 3 consecutive first-team All-Pro selections from 2011 to 2013. While he's still regarded as being in his prime, he retired after the 2015 season, citing a loss of passion for the game due to health concerns and the Lions' lack of overall success during his tenure. After retirement, Johnson opened up about concussions and the increase in probability of CTE. Johnson also has been an advocate for medical marijuana in his retirement. One of my favorite interviews I ever did when I was at the F Network, Calvin Johnson. We celebrate Black history on the CJ Silas Show every single week. You know what we're celebrating coming up, and my brother just brought it up to me, is the 500th CJ Silas Show. The first Wednesday in October, and I'm going to have my interns try to figure out what we're going to do that day. The first Wednesday in October, which will be the 6th, that'll be our 500th show. The 10-year anniversary of the 10 years. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe it. I'm emotional. The 10-year anniversary of the CJ Silas Show will be March 31st, 2022. That's not that far away. That's about 6 months away. That's so crazy. I remember when I was thinking about doing this show, people thought I was nuts because there was no salary, there was no payday, there was no money coming in. I emptied all of my savings. I emptied all of everything, my retirement, everything, to create the brand of the CJ Silas Show, the website, the logo, pay ESPN to let me do the show, which is a story in itself, which I don't have time for because it's too long right now, but it's true. There was nobody that would have me in the fall of 2010. There was nobody that would have me. And no, it was the fall of 2011. And I wanted to get back on the air after I finished writing the book. Nobody, not one network. Oh, CJ, you're at delivery. You're just, people are uncomfortable. Yeah, what they were trying to say is we don't want or we're not ready for a woman to be on the radio all the time. It's not working. It hasn't worked. And we're not going to give you another chance. And I'd had chances in the past. So I decided after a couple months, I'm not going to take no for an answer. So I created this show. I bought a time slot on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. where the infomercials are still. Car shows, prostate shows, tool shows, golf accessory shows, whatever it is. And that's what happened. And here we are now. In March, we'll celebrate 10 years. I actually thought the show would, if we were lucky, we'd go 5 years. And if we were really lucky, we'd go 10 and then I would stop it. And even this year, I'm like, oh, maybe after 10, I'll stop. And now I'm like so fired up. There's no way I'm going to stop this show. But before we celebrate 10 years in March of 2022, we will celebrate 500 shows in a couple weeks. One programming note, next week is the last week we will be on after the Dodgers game. During the regular season. Obviously, if there's something going on during the postseason, I always say I don't take your baseball from you, but I do say that next week we will be on after the Dodgers. I can't believe it. It just hit me. It just hit me. My brother asked me, I don't know what we were talking about, something else yesterday, and he goes, well, if you're close to 10 years and it's 52 weeks in a year, then you're probably at 500 by now. And we did the math. I'm like, gosh, I hope I didn't miss it. And I didn't miss it. And what I did is I did the math and I took one show out of every year because I always miss one show for my vacation. And we just put on the best of the CJ Silas Show, which I guess we could count, but we're not going to because it's not a live show with me doing it. Even through the pandemic. Oh, here's a curious question. The night last year when we went dark, when I sat in the studio and I did a silent hour the night that the NBA protested what happened to the kid in Wisconsin. And I sat in the studio and there was still a show that night. It was dark. I mean, it was silent. So we're still going to count that. Yeah. 500. 500 CJ Silas shows coming. Oh my gosh. 10 years? Well, that kind of makes me think about how old I am. I don't want to do that. Oh, man. And all the partners that have been with me almost the entire time, which is just crazy. Dermatologist Dr. Brad Kurgis, who's coming in to do his annual NFL picks, which means this year it is his 10th year coming in. 10th year coming in to do his picks. Dennis Daniel Lapidus and Larry Ackerman. Rex Stevens at Slow Wellness Center, the Avila Bay Athletic Club and Spa. Michael Moore Sports Recovery. Joy Shell Beach. And California Fresh Markets, where I shop in Pismo Beach on 5 Cities Drive. I actually went to the one in Santa Ynez yesterday, El Rancho, because I needed a couple things. I was cooking down there with some friends. So I've been to that one, too. It's super nice. And then I've, of course, been to the one on Foothill Boulevard in San Luis Obispo. Whatever you need, they've got it. They've got my favorite truffle almonds with olive oil. They're so good. So many things I love at California Fresh Markets. And if they don't have it and you want it, they'll get it for you. Just ask. Just ask for a manager and they will. If they can, they will. Oh, my gosh. I got a little emotional just now. I wasn't expecting to say in 3 weeks we have the 500th show. Wow. 10 years coming up. My gosh. Thank you for being here. And thank you for listening, whether you're listening live or on the podcast, which you can find if you can't be here live at 5 o'clock on Wednesday nights Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. Apple Podcasts. Just search for my show, iTunes, the TuneIn app, Spotify. And I'm pretty sure we're almost on Pandora. Will you check now to see we're any minute, Angeliki, any minute. Gabriel was making sure we were on Pandora, so that could happen soon as well. Thanks for listening. Coming up, we're going to look at some postseason awards, the playoff picture in the NFL, and our NFL picks for the year. Get yours in at CJ@thecjsilasshow.com. You're listening to the CJ Silas Show. I'm happy on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
The CJ Silas Show is back. Make sure your seats are in the upright and locked positions. Carry-on luggage stowed and opinions intact. Here she is, CJ Silas.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. As you heard just a couple minutes ago, I'm fired up for the Major League Baseball postseason. This guy has to be on the show this time of year, every year, because there is a lot to talk about. He is the head odds maker at mybookie.ag, Rafael Esparza. Hello there, friend.
How are you, CJ?
I am doing well. Can I consider us friends?
We're besties. I mean, we're not just friends, we're besties. You call me every morning and tell me what you're wearing, and I go buy the same thing and wear it all day.
Okay, good. I like it. Thanks for playing along. The NFL season just got underway. We're doing our annual picks on the CJ Silas Show just in a few minutes, only because my celebrity prognosticator was out of the country last week. So we're actually doing our picks a week into the season. But I want yours. I want odds for MVP, AFC champ, NFC champ, and Super Bowl teams. Let's start with NFL MVP.
Still between a quarterback, let's face it, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, still not getting money. Even though Aaron Rodgers lost last week, where he's still up there for a lot of tickets written, but it's Patrick Mahomes right now. There's some teams that took a small step backwards. The Buffalo Bills losing, the Patriots going down, so stuff like that. So MVP money switched a little, but right now with what Patrick Mahomes did in the second half, he's the easy leading favorite right now.
What about the AFC champion?
Buffalo going down. I mean, that opened up. I mean, we're still in week one. This is pretty much overreaction week one, stuff like that. Kansas City's still up there 2-1. Buffalo's still up there 5-1. Baltimore at 6-1, which I don't think is a good money. Pittsburgh, I still think the Steelers getting great value at 12-1. I don't think Baltimore is going to win that division. It's going to be between a battle, the Brownies and Steelers. But I like Pittsburgh at 12-1. That's a great number. And of course, my Super Bowl pick is the New England Patriots. You can get them at 12-1 to win the AFC Championship.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the NFC before we fill out the Super Bowl.
It's all about Tampa Tom. I mean, is anyone going to beat the old man Yeller? I mean, they won, squeaked one out against Dallas. They're plus $2 to win the NFC. I mean, Green Bay lost. I think the Rams, your backyard Rams, looks really good. Their defense looks explosive. And let's throw in San Francisco as well. But that's all. You don't bet against Tampa Tom. I'm sorry, it's the Bucks.
Okay, fine. Are you doing any odds on rookie quarterbacks or anything like first quarterback to go down or anything like that?
I will be doing some quarterback stuff starting tomorrow. I'm going to do a whole bunch of rookie quarterbacks. What next rookie quarterback will throw a touchdown in the pass? There's a lot of rookie quarterbacks that have not played yet. Trey Lance hasn't played a full quarter yet.
You can bet anytime, anything from anywhere, live betting, double your first deposit. He is the head odds maker at mybookie.ag, Rafael Esparza, joining the CJ Silas Show. Do you have any COVID odds, like the first team to forfeit a game or anything like that, or is that just too morbid?
Well, we did have stuff like that, and I might readjust. I might put those back open right now because let's face it, the Saints have 8 coaches that have COVID. They said all their coaches were 100% vaccinated, but we haven't heard a peep out of them, so maybe they were just lying to the media and say all their coaches were 100%. So I might put that prop bet up. I know. I think the Jets and the Bills were the small favorites last time. But I would have to say the Saints will be the favorite if I opened them back up probably either tomorrow or the next day.
You can find him at mybookie.ag. He is Rafael Esparza, a friend of the CJ Silas Show. Let's look at baseball. We've only got, I think, 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks left in the regular season, and all of the wild cards, all of the playoff spots are open except for the hated orange and black and the Dodgers in the National League. But it's all pretty tight. What are the highest odds, best odds for National League championships and American League championships?
I mean, for the National League, it's probably the Brewers last time I checked. But let's face it, in the National League, it's really only going to be 2 teams. The World Series is going to be hosted by a California team. It's going to be the Giants or it's going to be the Dodgers. Everyone else, I don't think have a chance. I think the Brewers maybe have some pitching, but their bullpen can get rattled at sometimes. So it's going to be between the Giants and the Dodgers. I think that race is going to be very interesting. Who's going to win the NL race? I mean, we have the Giants small favorite at minus 170, but the Dodgers are playing some good ball. And you know what? Kershaw's back on the mound, so that's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But
they have no more games head-to-head, which means the Dodgers need some of the other teams to do them a favor, for sure. Oh, gee. I don't know what's worse for me as a Dodger fan. Tying for the NL West and having a 1-game playoff in San Francisco or being a wild card team. I'm not really sure. We'll just have to wait and see. He is Rafael Esparza from mybookie.ag joining the CJ Silas Show. Biggest story of the day, next coach for the University of Southern California, one of my schools that I attended.
One of them, we'll have to talk about that one of the schools you attended. But let's face it, it's Bob Stoops. We have him as the favorite at 5-1. PJ Fleck 6-1. Even though Urban Meyer said he has no chance of wanting to come there, but what if he gets fired? He might go there plus 650. Franklin and Campbell around 8-1. But there's some funny ones I put at the end of it. Mike Gundy 25-1. Lane Kiffin, give him his old job back at 30-1. And why not Ed Orgeron, a former LSU quarterback, the head coach, 35-1.
What about if Dante Williams, the interim coach, has a good year with USC? Does he have any chance of sticking around and being the new head coach?
The recruiting that he does, a lot of players like him. I think if they, let's say, win out and maybe win a bowl game and all that, they'll give it to him. I'm not a big believer that they need a big name to be the USC. If he does a good job, they'll give him the job. So I'm rooting for him. I don't want a big name. I'm rooting for that guy because I heard he's a heck of a recruiter.
Bet anytime on anything from anywhere at mybookie.ag, live betting, and you can also double your first deposit up to $1,000. Head odds maker Rafael Esparza. Thanks, buddy. We want to talk to you right before the Major League Baseball season ends.
I'm always here for you, CJ. My bestie, you have a great, great, great weekend. Stay safe.
He is really the best. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I never did any handicapping on my show before. I used to have actually a joke handicapper on the Sports Bite when I was doing that show with Waz, Monday through Friday. We had Big Bad Bubba, you can't bet in the US.com because it wasn't legal. But because it became legal, I thought it would be kind of cool that we do it on like once a month. And I love him. We had another odds maker once, but really rough Roth surely is the best. This segment of the CJ Silas Show is brought to you by dentist Dr. Daniel Lapidus and Larry Ackerman. The Cal Poly, Hancock, and Cuesta sports updates. Hancock cross country at Oxnard. The men took fourth. Men's soccer lost to Taft. They're hosting Cabrillo. They are 1-3-1. Women's soccer had a win over West LA. They're 1-2-2. Next up, they're at playing Bakersfield on Friday. Football! With 2 seconds left, Colton Thieker wins it with a field goal. Remember, last week in overtime, the Bulldogs won the football game on a field goal by Colton Thieker. They won at 37-34 this week over San Bernardino. Next up, they're hosting Cerritos this Saturday, 2 o'clock kickoff at Allen Hancock College Field. You can also watch the game live at athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Colton Thieker is the Northern Santa Barbara County Athlete of the Week. Oh my gosh. 4 for 4 PATs against Santa Barbara. 385 yards in kickoffs over the last couple weeks. 162 punting yards over the last couple weeks. And he's perfect on PATs. And he is the Northern Santa Barbara County Athlete of the Week. I did walk on campus on Monday. I went in the gym and saw some of the women's basketball players. It looks like they have a full squad this year, which is super exciting. Last year, everybody played short if they played at all. And then I got to see some of the football players. Pretty darn cool. The Cuesta Cougars announced 2 new head coaches. One, Casey Blair from women's water polo, and Rich Furman for basketball. The water polo team split. They won over Fresno City. They lost to West Valley. And then they had a sweep in day 2 of the same tournament. Next up, they're at a tournament in Saratoga. They're 4-1. Volleyball, 3-2 on the road last week. 3 matches at home this week. A doubleheader tonight versus Monterey Peninsula and Santa Monica City on Friday. Cuesta women's soccer hosted Santa Rosa and lost. And next up, they're at College of the Canyons on Friday. Men's water polo, 7-2 on the season. They lost 2 to Division I teams San Jose State and Davis. They were 7-0 going into those 2 matches. And cross country next runs on the 24th of September. And wrestling opens their season this Saturday. Cuesta and Hancock. Cal Poly. Cross country men won at the Stump Invitational. Women took 5th among 8 schools. Next up, the Dellinger Invitational in Springfield, Ohio. Volleyball was at the Pepperdine Classic. They lost to number 9 UW. Then they lost to number 22 Pepperdine, but it was a tough one. They lost in 5 sets. Jamie Stivers had 17 kills. Their final 2 non-conference matches are this coming Thursday. That's tomorrow. It's a home and away, a home and home, a home and home. LMU tomorrow, and then hosting LMU Saturday at 1 o'clock before Big West play begins. Men's tennis opens at the Battle of the Bay, half their squad and the other half at Easley Memorial in Las Vegas. Women's golf took 2nd place. They tied with Weber State at the Hobble Creek Fall Classic in Utah. And in football, the Mustangs lost at Fresno State 63-10. They're 1-1 on the year. Spencer Brash, 18 of 33 for 212 yards, a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. Cal Poly had 10 punts, and they only converted 4 of 19 third downs. Next up, your Cal Poly Mustang football team comes home for the opener this Saturday against South Dakota State. You'll hear that right here on ESPN radio at 5:05, the kickoff. Then they open Big Sky Play at Montana the following week. I think, it seems like forever ago, and I should know this, but I think the Cal Poly Mustangs will have fans in the stands at the football stadium for the first time this week in a long time. That is your Cal Poly, Hancock, and Cuesta sports updates. Coming up, our NFL picks. Get yours in. You've got until Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific to get in your conference champs, your division champs, your wild card teams, and your Super Bowl teams. CJ at the CJ Silas Show, or info at the CJ Silas Show, or you can just post it on Instagram or Facebook. Whatever you got to do to get it in. Lots of prizes next February. Always the best, the CJ Silas Show prize packages. Up next, our NFL picks. In case you missed the show, by the way, and you can't hear us live on Wednesdays at 5 or 8 Pacific, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, find the podcast wherever you listen to yours. And you can always, easy peasy, find it at thecjsilasshow.com, where you can also check out our new YouTube channel. Thanks for listening to the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7, The Ticket.
We're back with the CJ Silas Show on ESPN Radio 1280. Here's CJ.
Welcome back to the CJ Silas Show. Our NFL picks coming up in just a minute. A couple stories that I think are a little bit more important. Breaking news out of Milwaukee. The Bucks make a historic hire of Lisa Byington as their TV play-by-play announcer. Wow. It was their first NBA championship since 1971, and they're making history again as the season will tip off later this fall. They've selected Lisa Byington as the lead announcer for their TV broadcasts on Bally Sports Wisconsin. First full-time female play-by-play announcer for a major men's professional sports team. This is so cool. I mean, it's not like she hasn't done it before. She's been doing play-by-play for NCAA basketball and on all the national networks for a long time. She's worked as a studio host and a reporter for CBS, Turner Sports, the F Network, Big Ten during her career. NBC Sports, she covered the games in Tokyo, doing men and women's soccer. She has so much credit. She's done Women's World Cup games. She became the first woman in the history of CBS and Turner Sports to do play-by-play for the men's NCAA tournament games. She played basketball. She played soccer at Northwestern. She also does play-by-play for the WNBA Chicago Sky. She can still do that because the WNBA and the NBA play at separate times, so she'll probably continue to do that. It's groundbreaking. It's incredible. Wow, she's honored. She's humble. What's really going to be cool is when they don't have to make such a big deal of it because she's not the first, because there are women doing it everywhere. It's just the way it should. Oh my gosh, the Bucks guy that was doing it for 35 years retired, and Marcus Johnson, who played for the Bucks, he will do the analyzing, which will be great. Oh my gosh, historic moment for the Bucks and for her. I'm so excited. That's good news for Lisa Byington, named the TV voice of the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. Also today in the news, it's just disgusting. And I try so hard not to do the negative stories. I try so hard not to do the downers. But I guess that there are members of Team USA Gymnastics that spoke before the Senate Judiciary Committee recently over the over the FBI's failure when they investigated the Larry Nassar situation. So ugly. Simone Biles had an impactful statement that touched on so many things relating to the investigation and the impact that it has had on her life. It's just disgusting. Think about it. Think about it. I just feel like it's obvious that, woman or not, you should understand and empathize with the feeling of the fact that when you are sexually assaulted, raped, sexually abused by anyone, it will be a part of your life, her story, and your experience. It will come through. It will come back. It will be triggered. It will be something that you never, ever forget. You try to clean it up and clear it up and put it in a little box and not go back to it. However, it is something that will be part of your DNA. It is a violation. And anyone that doesn't have empathy or understanding for women that have had that happen to them or just don't have feelings and aren't thoughtful. And Simone Biles spoke up again today that she was disgraced by not just USA Gymnastics, by how they handled it, but by Larry Nassar, and it had a direct impact on her health and her mental health at the Olympics when she unexpectedly withdrew from several events. She wasn't the only member of the Team USA Gymnastics squad that spoke up. And she said today, quote, "I will close with one final thought. The scars of this horrific abuse continue to live with all of us. As the lone competitor at the recent Tokyo Games who was a survivor of this horror, I can assure you that the impacts of this man's abuse are not ever over or forgotten, unquote. It's just disgusting. We talked about the story when it was happening and when he was on trial. It's just so awful. She's a 4-time gold medalist, and she has always placed the blame on the Nassar situation directly on him, but looked for and requested accountability from USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. The entire system she had blamed, enabling this guy to work. What about Michigan State? Let's not forget what Michigan State has done. Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, Allie Raisman, and Maggie Nichols spoke today to the Senate Judiciary Committee about the Inspector General's report on the FBI's handling of the entire investigation. It's part of a congressional effort to hold the FBI accountable after a lot of missteps in investigating the case. Hundreds of women came forward to detail what they had gone through. It is so disgusting. It is a travesty. It's something we can never forget. It's something that we need to better protect our young female athletes from at every level of sports, not just Olympics and college, but high school, middle school. It's happening, folks. It's still happening. And when a kid comes forward and says something's happening to them, you owe it to them. You owe it to every boy, girl, man, woman, female, male that has ever played a sport, competed, and if they come and they tell you that something inappropriate happened to them, you cannot brush it under the rug. You cannot pretend it didn't happen. You can't pretend it's just a young person making something up for attention or whatever your stupid reasons are for rationalizing ignoring it, rationalizing, sweeping it under the rug for the sake of winning. It's disgusting. The fact that we're still talking about it makes me sick. It gives me an uneasy feeling in my entire body. It's disgusting. And the fact that these women are reliving this again, and every single woman that it happened to, again, it's got to stop. The abuse and assault of female and male athletes has got to stop. And those out there that are there to protect them when they are just kids, children, teenagers, how dare you? Every single person on that Michigan State staff that had an idea and ignored the gymnast, every single person on USA Gymnastics staff that ignored them and didn't take it serious, every single person from United States Olympics that ignored it or tried to push it aside as untrue, you all are accountable. You are awful, disgusting humans that allowed it to continue for more years than it should have. I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and I'm fired up because the abuse went on longer than it should have. Not just with gymnastics and Larry Nassar, but other stories that we've followed on the CJ Silas show for years. Penn State with the boys being molested. Come on. If you hear any of this, you have nothing to say for yourself if you didn't take it serious. And you will probably have guilt for the rest of your life. And I don't even care because that's nothing compared to what these women will be going through. And it will affect their relationships. It will affect their careers. It will affect their mental health. It will affect every single bit of their body, every muscle, nerve, everything for the rest of their lives. And it's because of people out there that did not take them serious and did not support them and help them when they were asking for it. It's disgusting. You make me sick. Woo! Okay. It's time for my NFL picks. Dr. Brad Kurgis got stuck at the office, isn't going to make it, so I'm going to give you mine, and I'm going to give you mine quick. You still have time, and we're going to let Doc Kurgis give us his, too, before Sunday morning at 10 a.m. CJ at the CJ Silas Show, info at the CJ Silas Show, and you can always, if you want, it's going to take up a lot of space if you do it on social media. You can also do it in a direct message or a Facebook message. I'm sure the interns will check it all and find it all by Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. Get your picks in. All right, here are my NFL picks for 2021. In the AFC, the West, I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody in the league is chasing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Their defense is equally as offense. They've upgraded their offensive line. There's no one that can beat the Chiefs in the AFC West. In the AFC East, Stephon Diggs, what an acquisition for the Bills. Josh Allen, two of the best quarterback receiver combinations for the Bills. They led the league in 2020. Diggs did 127 receptions, over 1,500 yards. Strong defense, versatile, great defensive backfield. AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown, Sammy Watkins. He was acquired in the offseason as well. The loss of J.K. Dobbins recently makes me a little nervous, but I'm going to stick with the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC North. In the AFC South, the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, injuries could be a question mark, but come on, Jonathan Taylor, come on. A rookie, new wide receiver, come on. Mike Strahan, I think it is. Awesome size and speed. The O-line has to stay strong. I've got the Colts in the South. For my wild cards in the AFC, I'm picking Cleveland, my Miami Dolphins, unless they pick Deshaun Watson, then I'm going to take a mulligan. If they sign him, then I'm going to have to take a mulligan on that. And the L.A. Chargers. My NFC picks. Gosh, the clock is moving fast. In the East, the Dallas Cowboys, even though I cannot stand Jerry Jones, I think he is a leper. I still think that the Dallas Cowboys will win the East. Dak is legit. He's proving it. Gosh, I hate picking this team. Ezekiel Elliott, and once he gets the ball more, it's going to be even better. He's been a help as a blocker as well. In the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson. The team has bonded in the offseason after that whole Russell might leave, Russell's not happy drama, non-drama, whatever you want to call it. That is my NFC West pick, the Seattle Seahawks. In the NFC South, the Tampa Bay, you can't not go. You can't. Healthy safety in Jordan Whitehead is huge. The running game needs to complement Brady and his passing game, but there's no way you can pick against Tom Brady and the Super Bowl champs. In the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers, just one loss doesn't mean a thing. Aaron Rodgers and his team have tightened up chemistry-wise. What a great wide receiver core. Aaron Rodgers, you just can't let it. You just can't just because of one game. He's got the vibe, Aaron Rodgers, and it could be his last games as the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. In the NFC, the wild cards, San Francisco, the LA Rams. Oh gosh, I didn't fill out my third NFC team. My third NFC wild card team. Who's it gonna be? I can't believe I didn't. Gosh, I didn't pick a wild card team. Oh, now I'm putting myself on the spot. Okay. I've got the Niners, the Rams, and I'm going to say the Washington football team. Just like that. I go, yeah, I got to write this down. And then we'll get Dr. Kurgis's picks before Sunday at 10 a.m. Those are the picks for the CJ Silas Show from the CJ Silas. Get your picks in. Info at the CJ Silas Show. CJ at the CJ Silas Show. Prizes. We've got CJ Silas Show swag. We'll give away hats, shirts. We'll give away some Cal Poly baseball tickets probably next year as well, because we don't do our prize packet until the Super Bowl is over. That's February. Get your picks in. Get me every division Get me your conference picks, get me your wild card picks, and your Super Bowl champions before Sunday at 10 a.m. I want to thank you for listening to the CJ Silas Show. We will get Curtis's picks for sure. Check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. Don't forget, next week we are coming on after the Dodgers. I'm going to turn my mic off because I can, and I will, and I am out.
Thanks for listening to the CJ Silas Show. Find her podcast on the CJSilasShow.com. Follow her on all social media platforms, including her YouTube channel. Make an appointment to listen every Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1280 AM and FM 101.7. CJ out.